Time for Nick's NBA player pyramid. Early this morning, Nick showed us which 26 guys are on the bottom 4 rows of his pyramid. Ran out of time before we got his top 10. Nick, we got time right now. 10 guys, 4 rows. How do you stack them up?
By the way, if you want more than that, if you want to see the pyramid go to its full logical conclusion of the top 134 players in basketball, the What's Right with Nick Wright podcast debuting on the Fox Sports app in late March. Check it out there. Now to the top 10. A little promo y'all didn't know was coming. How about that? Top 10 right now. Row 4. Yeah, he's got a lot of work to do. All right, so listen. Let's go positive first. Positive is Ja. Welcome, Ja, to the elite of the elite.
Yes.
Can you be the best player on a champion? Maybe. Are you the best young player in basketball? Well, what about pudgier than he should be, my large adult Slovenian son, Luka? It is hard, even for Luka's literal father, I'm literally his father, to make a compelling case that Luka is still the unquestioned best young player in the league. It might be Ja. Kawhi's hurt. And then there's the Jokić problem. Guys, I do not hate Nikola Jokić. I have him on the same tier as Kawhi, Ja, and my own son. However, you have to, I demand it, stop tagging me in these tweets from these idiots that are sending me fake stats. Yesterday, I got in a Twitter back and forth because a Bleacher Report doofus said, hey, look, Nikola Jokić, now 3rd greatest player ever, according to BPM, box score plus minus. And that took time away. We're going to need a moment here, guys, from my wife, children, my dog, as I went down this rabbit hole of BPM nonsense. So yeah, Jokić, 3rd greatest player ever. The Admiral, David Robinson, 5th greatest player ever. Some other fun BPM facts. Kimball Walker, better than Zeke. The original Isaiah Thomas. Who knew? Hey, Jeff Hornacek, better than Patrick Ewing. Did you know? BPM will tell you. I got some more. Nate McMillan, better than Allen Iverson. And my favorite one, Andre Kirilenko. Andre Kirilenko, better than Akeem Olajuwon and Kobe Bryant. Take BPM and throw it in the stupid trash. Those are my notes for this segment. I got a little overzealous. Let's keep going. See if I can continue. Number 3, 3rd row. Guy that's going to win league MVP, Joel Embiid. Steph Curry's won a couple league MVPs. And then maybe, just maybe, a guy who should win league MVP. A guy who should have won it last year. You know, we got a bunch of quarterback wins guys on the show.
Really?
What about basketball wins? What about point guard? What about, I took a Suns team that, went undefeated in the bubble and was so bad before the bubble, couldn't even make the playoffs. I took them to the finals. We were up 2-0 in the finals, and then Giannis exploded. And now we're, what are we, 43-9? And I control the game, and I'm still the best point guard. What about that? What about Chris Paul? A little MVP love for him. All right, now the top 3 stays the same it was before the year. Giannis is still, we can just reveal the full top 3. Giannis is clearly the best player in basketball. LeBron and KD are clearly the 2 guys biting at his heels the closest. And so I don't think it needs much analysis. Giannis we have gotten numb in a way similar to how we got numb to LeBron, in his Heat years, of the consistent, every night greatness he's delivering. So I don't think there's any debate, Broussard, I personally, that Giannis is the best player in basketball. I don't think there is a debate anyone can have. And then LeBron and KD, I think, obviously, are the only 2 guys in the same, reaching distance of him. So there's the top 10. Sorry for the filibuster on Jokić, but I got very upset.
That was good.
Obviously, huh? Okay. Love that you got Ja on here. I'm tempted to move Ja up. I think he's clearly having a better season than Chris Paul, who's playing terrifically. All right. But experience, savvy. The Grizzlies are 11-2 without Ja. And so I'm fine with that. All right. And he's young, first year he's kind of really blowing up. But Jokić, Nick, and I love what you said about BPM because you're right. Because the guys that are over the top with the analytics do underestimate so many of the greats, including Kobe Bryant and Isaiah Thomas, Zeke, who you mentioned. But Jokic, I got to move him ahead because Kawhi's hurt. So I'm going to move Jokic ahead of Chris Paul. I'm going to exchange those two because as much as you disrespect Nikola Jokic, kind of like you do Kyrie and Harden now, you got to give the guy more love, Nick. He is getting it done. I mean, Jokic and Chris Paul, your own tiers speak to why Jokic should be ahead of him. Chris Paul has two guys on your tiers, Devin Booker and DeAndre Ayton. Jokic doesn't. And if he did, Jamal Murray, if healthy, maybe would be on there. He's been injured the whole year. Michael Porter Jr., his third best player, played 9 games this year and was banged up for those 9. And Jokic still has them the 6th seed in the West, a couple of games out of the 4th seed, and he's the only player, forget all the analytics stats, although he does lead the league in PER, the only player in the league in the top 10 in points, rebounds, and assists. So Jokic, respect that man and respect his MVP. Secondly, I would exchange Joel Embiid. You want to answer that? Go ahead. And then I'll get to
No, go ahead. No. You go. Keep going.
Okay. I would exchange places Joel Embiid and LeBron. I can't believe you said LeBron and Durant are the only two, within shouting distance of Giannis. Have you watched Embiid? You said he's MVP. This dude's phenomenal. I mean, he's got them 31-20, 3rd seed in the East without his second best player. He's obviously a better rebounder than LeBron, a better defender at this point than LeBron. He's carrying the team on his shoulders and impacting the game. So I got to put Embiid, who I agree with you right now would be the MVP, ahead of LeBron. You can argue, LeBron and Durant if you want to argue that. But Embiid definitely needs to be on that second line, right behind Giannis.
All right, let me just quickly do the Jokic CP3 thing. Obviously, Jokic's numbers are going to dwarf Chris Paul's. And I'm not going to go as hard with you on Jokic because you're not arguing what these doofuses are, which is Jokic is the best player in the league. He's the best player in the league. Now, is it fair to ask him? No, but do we expect him to make even the conference finals? Of course not. Because the best player in the league never carries inferior competition. It's never happened, except the entirety of basketball history. What are you guys talking about? If you think Jokic's the best player in the league, pick the Nuggets to win the West. Do it. I dare you. You can't win without Michael Porter Jr. You can't. Oh, okay. So what about when Jokic had Michael Porter Jr.? What if Jokic had Michael Porter Jr. and Aaron Gordon and everyone but Jamal Murray, and they played a playoff series against, Chris Paul's team? How do we think that would have gone? Oh, let me check. It happened 5 months ago, and Chris Paul swept them. So everybody, stop it. Chris Paul, underrated. I don't care what his pi or VPIP is. None of it matters. Now, to the Embiid stuff. Embiid, to me, is the league MVP. However, I think that very top of the pyramid, unless a guy falls off, has to be, just like Giannis can't lose that spot in the regular season. He won it in the playoffs last year. He can't lose it in the regular season. Sure. If you want to dethrone LeBron or KD, if you're Embiid, unless one of them greatly deteriorates and they're both, they're second and third leading scorers in basketball this year, I think so, is first and third. I need Embiid to have a playoff moment that he is yet to have. So part of this, that's why I said it's a proprietary algorithm that goes into it. Part of its history, part of its present, part of its art, part of its science. So Embiid, it's going to be very hard for him to move up to that line. With that said, what you're also saying in your point there is that you also, if you had to only choose of those 3 guys, 2 of the 3, you would move LeBron out. I think you can make a very strong case that if we're moving Embiid up, KD's the one who goes out. They've played the same amount of games. I would argue LeBron has been better and that LeBron has been more impactful. Now, his team has not won as much, but there's a lot of factors involved in that. So I think he's been more. I think he's been the better player this year. I believe that, and you can't say the amount of games missed because they played the exact same number of games. They both played 36 games. The LeBron's injuries have just come at different times, but we don't. Well, yeah, but when we're speaking
here's what I say to that, Nick.
Yeah, go ahead.
Here's what I say. The stats, and you know this, the stats are essentially the same, right? Kevin Durant, LeBron, they're almost identical. But, and we've talked about this before, LeBron's not impacting winning like he used to. And I think largely because it's the defensive end, and I think his scoring is a little up because he's shooting too many threes. He's shooting 8 threes a game. That's more than Kevin Durant. Way more than Durant shooting. And LeBron is 19. They're both in similar situations. They got one superstar that's in and out of the lineup, AD, Kyrie, and they got another one that, you got West and you got Harden. You said yourself, Brooklyn doesn't have a good coach. You said Brooklyn doesn't have a good coach.
Russ and Harden are not in the same stratosphere as players anymore. And so as far as the impact on winning, like Russ and Harden are not even close to the same stratosphere. No.
The numbers on Russ say he's still in the stratosphere.
The numbers on Russ are one thing. Russ has been a negative.
They're winning. KD is winning much more. They're 24-12 with KD. The Lakers are 19-17 with LeBron. And at this stage, when LeBron's not as much of a defender as he used to be, KD is a better, easier fit with other players than LeBron is at this point. So that's why I would go KD.
Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out more of the best clips from First Things First, or go watch a few segments from our other shows on FS1.